Now we're going to go into a more in-depth overview of the light list and how to find information on a given light and how you can eventually use that to then calculate its range. So the first, you can see I'm on page 32 of the file. The first 30-something pages are mostly just references and introductory material. It's not necessarily that important. Once you get here, though, you actually get into the main meat of the light list. Starting with the geographic and luminous range diagrams. We'll get into both of those pretty soon. Next, though, you get into the main body of the book, which is just the light list itself. And you can see it catalogs every major light, every major nav aid along the eastern coast. This being light list 1, it's the north half of the eastern coast. Broken down, you can see here the number of the light. That's just relevant to the book itself. I'll show you in a second, but the back of the book has an index section, so you could find each light alphabetically. Then you have the name of the light itself. In this case, we're starting with Block Island Southeast light. Its position, its exact coordinates, its light characteristics. So like we learned before, this is flashing green every 5 seconds. This one, Block Island Southeast, is a radio beacon that blinks in Morse code Bravo India. This one is flashing red every 2.5 seconds, and so on and so forth. Next, you have its height above the water. This one's 258 feet. Its range, 24 miles. You can see I surprised myself when I saw this one because I thought that this one's range was 125 miles, which it is, but it's a radio beacon, not a light, and that makes sense. It wouldn't be possible as a light. Then we have a brief description of its just basic structure, so that if you were passing through and you needed to identify it visually, you could say, oh, Block Island Southeast light is just a steel tower, whereas this one down here, Montauk Point light, is an actual lighthouse with red and white stripes. This one as well, or that's a buoy, and then this is a light. Then there's just minor notes off to the side for anything specific you need to see, like for the radio beacons, it shows its exact frequency. And it continues like this all the way down the coast, organized by region, with every major light you might need to see. Here we get into the buoys. You can see the way these are, all these buoys are lined up, and the fact that some of them are green, some of them are red. These are clearly lateral marks marking the entrance to, evidently, Warwick Cove here. So you'll see a lot of the book is just strings of green and red buoys. But then if you go on, there's more and more of various types of lights. Point Judith light here is a sector light, which is why it has multiple different light characteristics, because different portions of the sector have different characteristics. So the way you would use this, I'm going to come up to the page that the index is on, is it'll take a second to load. You might be asked a question such as, what are the light characteristics and physical features of Atlantic Highland light? So the first step you would do is you would come to the index, starting right here, which just lists every single light in alphabetical order with its corresponding reference number next to it. So you would look for Atlantic Highland light. I obviously chose one starting with an A because it would be a lot easier to find. Oh, it's right there in front of me. Atlantic Highlands Breakwater light. Reference number 32865. Okay, so then we would need to go back into the light list to look for 32865. There's almost no chance of me being able to find that in any reasonable amount of time, so I'm probably going to Control F it. But you can see here we're in the section of like 1900. So if we skip, I don't know, page 60, Okay. 3, 2. Huh. Okay. It's missing from this version of the index, the one I happen to choose. Never mind. We'll choose this one. Plum Island, West Dolphin Light. So in this case, if the question was Plum Island, West Dolphin Light, you would have looked in the index for that, found its reference number of 26100. Come here, start with its light characteristics. So this one's flashing green, 12 feet high, 6-mile range, and it's on a dolphin. So almost a huge bollard sticking out of the water. And you could do that with basically any light. These types of questions are relatively easy. Obviously, it doesn't take too much effort. You just need to be able to sift through the indices.